Happy New Year, guys. I've decided I want to make a lot more videos of my results. That's something that I lacked doing last year. I mean, I made a couple videos here and there, but I think being more consistent with this will give more confidence in the system. So what I did just now before I started the video was I ran all the reports for today. As you can see, we started only a couple days ago on the 29th. And then I skipped the 30th, didn't make any reports for that. Here's the 31st, and then here's today. So let's just start with the unbiased growth one. So the unbiased growth is here. Tells you how many trades. Tells you the specific growth on the coin allocation and the specific growth on the dollar allocation. And keep in mind this is only 2 or 3 days. It's about 3 days of trading. In like 2 hours, it'll be a full 3 days, I think. Positive across the board. You know what? Let's make this bigger. I don't know if this screen, how the screen's going to look for you. Maybe you're on a cell phone. All right, so there we go. Starting with S and X. Positive unbiased growth. Unbiased growth meaning that the growth of one will always be higher than the loss of the other at first. And over time, eventually, both allocations will be positive percent growth. Now, that second statement is that probability approaches 100%, but I can't legally say that it will approach 100% because you're not allowed to say that trading systems guarantee profit, which is kind of stupid, but it makes sense. Most trading systems are gambling that try to predict the future. They try to read the stars. VOLATRONIX is more like a grocery store. It's a system that is guaranteed to work as long as the coin you're trading and the exchange you're trading it on continue existing and being traded. As long as there's a price wiggle, as long as there's a lifeline, a pulse, the system is guaranteed to produce unbiased growth early on, and the probability of reaching actual profit approaches 100% the more you're using it. Again, I'm not legally allowed to say that that profit is guaranteed, even though in 100% of the humans using this, they've all seen positive unbiased growth and profit. And in 100% of all simulations on real data and on randomly simulated prices, we see unbiased growth and profit. So again, there could be some strange thing that happens, like the exchange dies and or gets hacked, or you get robbed, or the government shuts it all down. That is the risk. The risk is not the trading system. So if you're comfortable trading, if you're comfortable gambling, you might as well use VOLATRONIX to guarantee results. Anyway, let's go down. So we've got positive, 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 all the way down. There isn't a single negative unbiased growth anywhere. Early on, one is going to be negative and the other one's going to be positive and bigger. And this is early on. This is the first couple days. So I wouldn't expect to see both of them be positive until, not for most of them until around 100 or 200 trades. And there we go. So we started off with this much dollars and this much coins, the value of the coins in dollars, which is identical. That's how we set up VOLATRONIX. And then we've got the current dollars allocated is 405, and the current value of all the coins in dollars is 401. So those are both positive. And now the initial combined value in dollars was 799.53 cents, and currently is 807.52, already performing better than most banks in America in a couple days, already performing better than the yearly interest rate at most banks. Okay, so that's the unbiased growth report. Let's open up another one. The market growth is a little more detailed. That's something else you can get in VLChat. I've got videos on how to run the reports. You can check those out. Actually, let's make that a little smaller. So this one is basically the same thing, giving the unbiased growth of every market, but also showing exact amounts, right? Shows the total trades, the total buys, total sells, shows the exact amounts here and here. This was what we started with, and this is how much S and X we have now. $70 we started, $70 we have now. So it's just a little more detailed. And this is what gets sent to your email if you enable the robot to email you after every trade. It's basically this block per market, per trade. All right, moving out. And my favorite thing actually lately has been this general forecast because it tells me what to expect by a certain, let's make this bigger. It tells me what to expect by a certain number of trades. So the average unbiased growth per trade, we take the average unbiased growth of the entire account and divide it by the number of trades. We get the average unbiased growth per trade, which allows us to forecast the expected unbiased growth of any random market at 100 trades, 1,000 trades, and 10,000 trades. So I should expect a 7% gain on 100 trades on some market. And at 1,000 trades, I should expect my account, that the allocations of that market to approximately double. Now it could be that that can range from the coin doubling to the dollars doubling, and the other allocation going almost all the way to zero. Those are the extremes, and more likely it's going to be somewhere in the middle. Um, so normal would be between like 38% and 62% or something like that. Um, of the time, well, this means the account value doubles. Okay. And by 10,000 trades, you're dealing with, about 10,000% gain. Wow, I like how these numbers ended up. Again, I'm using a minimum percent distance of 3.43. By default, the minimum is 3, so you'll have a few more trades. But I wanted to have 3.333% minimum distances between trades while also factoring in the fact that they take 0.1% in fees. So that's why I added the extra 0.1%. So it's 3.43% is what I'm using. And compared to HODL is negative today because the prices must be rising faster than normal, right? So here we've got V Ultra versus HODL. Starting dollar value of all of USDT markets was this, and we've seen this number before. We've seen this number in the other reports as well. USD change in start almost $8. Average price change percent. So the average price of all the markets went up by 1.78, and the USDT account value change percent has only gone up 1. So there should be a percent here. I got to make a note to add that into the robot to print that out. And if we look at, what was it, a couple days ago, let's do the compare to HODL. On that day, when the average price of all markets was down 2.7%, the average account value of my bot was only minus 1.32%. So V Ultra was doing better than holding then. It was doing 1.45% better than buy and hold. And right now, buy and hold would have been a little more profitable. And that's what happens in the early stages, right? But the price overlap over time guarantees that VOLATRONIX will outperform buying and holding in the long term. We're still in the early stages, so I hope to prove this over the next few months with many more trades. And I do plan on eventually trading 100% of the markets that KuCoin and Coinbase have in common. So I'll be doing all the high quality coins that Coinbase offers, but trading them on KuCoin where the trading fees are at least 5 times less, and where the minimum trade size is much, much smaller. Sometimes the minimum trade size is like a penny. So that's a lot better than the $5 and $10 minimums you see on Binance and Coinbase. Okay, that's enough for today. Actually, well, let's real quick, let's look at the general forecast on day one. The general forecast on day one looked better. We thought we would get 150% at 10,000 trades and 10% at 100 trades. And it does go down. So the more trades you have, the more accurate it gets. And the general forecast the next time was a little less. And 2 days later, that's a tiny bit less than that. So we're getting closer to the true expected unbiased growth, which is good. My guess is it'll probably go down to 100 trades being like 5% and then 1,000 trades being like 70. That's my guess. We'll see what happens. But either way, This is the one system that guarantees unbiased growth. Everybody in the world should be using it. But if everybody in the world did use it, volatility would disappear and nobody would make money from trading, which is my theory as to why there's so much emotional hype, right? With that, nobody acts. Typically, I think I must be an odd one out, but most people don't act unless it's on emotion. And the rich people in the world, they take advantage of that emotion. You see that in politics, and you see that in markets, you see that in the medical industry, right? People will use anything they can, whether it's fear or excitement or punishment, you know, to motivate people to take action and give up their money. I'm not like that at all. I want you to succeed. I want you to make money, and I don't need to make you feel guilty or scared or panic or I don't have to lie to you and say that this thing is gonna work and then it doesn't, because this thing will actually work. I don't need anybody's money to prove it. Eventually it's gonna make me filthy rich, but I feel like because this is what I have to offer to the world, I need to offer it, right? If you have a service, if you have a skill that can be used as a service to help people, I feel like you have kind of an ethical and moral obligation to do it. And this is all I've been obsessed with for the last few years is finding the perfect trading system. And I did. VOLATRONIX, the Ultra, all the versions of it, they've always worked. They've worked everywhere. Um, nobody's ever come out with any proof that it could fail. Even my own dad is very intelligent. He's owned software development companies, and he's been an engineer and programmer his whole life, and he keeps saying, I don't think, I don't think it's perfect. I think it could fail, but never was able to explain why. And I think and the longer he's been watching me do this, the more on board he is. So um, yeah, right now we've got people in the Discord you can talk to in the Discord chat room. Um, you can talk to me there. You can use the robot for free, basically for free. You can send like a penny to register it and then trade with less than $100 allocated for free for as long as you like to see that it works. And then once you know that it works, you'll be happy to uh, spend the time, spend the money on buying trade time for allocations above $100. Because if you know you've got an unlimited money supply, um, you'd be happy to reward the person who gave you that. So that's what I'm hoping for anyway. All right, you have a good one. Happy New Year. Hope 2022 is your best ever.